Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my podcast, Filming Through the Culture, where I talk about all things that are shifting in the Hollywood film world. Today's episode will be about musical trends in Hollywood, which I'm so excited about because I love musicals, whether it's on Broadway or just film adaptations in general. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a huge musical theater kid, but I do enjoy just the characters singing and dancing and just the cinematography and the choreography that goes into it, and just the whole stage adaptation and the writing is really fun. Although, yes, some of the singing, depending on the content of it, it can be annoying when the characters sing every now and then. But but as someone who is not really like too into musicals, I still enjoy it because I love the creative feel and the movements. Back in high school, I took a musical theater course, and I had a little phase. Let's just say that I had like a sketchbook and like a playbill. I painted it like that, a little playbill thing, and there's some drawings in here of musicals I did that I wasn't finished. It was during COVID time and things got busy, and yeah, it was just a stressful time. But I had like things like Frozen, which I love, and I like things like Mean Girls, and then I also have Hamilton, which is one of my favorites. But today's musical, I'm going to talk about one that everyone is still talking about since November, actually probably even before that, Wicked, which recently came out back in November of last year. And I also did like a little painting. It's unfinished, but it was back in high school and I completely forgot about it. But for today, I'm going to focus on everything Wicked because I loved it. I went to watch it with some friends and it was amazing. I just love how even though the book that's based off it it's not really connected at all to the original Wizard of Oz of 1939, but in the movie they did incorporate it Dorothy, the Cowardly Lion, the Tin Man, and Scarecrow, which in the Broadway production they do talk about it more in the Act 2. And about that, I thought that was really, it was so cute that they just started the film that way, just a little like little reference to it. In my opinion, I thought the movie Wicked was wonderful. Ariana and Cynthia were phenomenal as Glinda and Elphaba. Their vocal range are amazing. They really matched their characters. They stayed true to their characters and they just brought a lot of heart into it, a lot of just staying true to the character, wholesome and a unique dynamic with one another. They really did pay tribute to the Broadway musical, the 2000 Broadway musical Wicked, and even the fan fiction book that is based off. I would say even things of the Wizard of Oz, because there's a lot of a tease into it. As I said in the beginning, they had a little bit of connection to Wizard of Oz, and eventually in part 2, they're gonna go deeper into that. How did the Cowardly Lion came to be? How did the Scarecrow and the Tin Man and all that? How did Dorothy get there? They're gonna do their own things, because in the Broadway musical, they do in Act 2, they do put like a little spin to it of what if this was the backstory, what if this is what originally happened before Dorothy came to the land of Oz. The whole set design, the production design, it felt like you were in the land of Oz. It felt like you were going through the journey with these characters. You could see the perspective and the persona of Elphaba, but also you could see the perspective of Glinda and the other characters that play a big role. The I do have to say something about the movie Wicked. Something negative. I would say towards the middle, it did get a little bit boring. It dragged a bit. After all, it does have like about an hour or so more than the original Broadway production. They did have a lot of add-ins that I was like, okay, let's just keep on going. What is the next thing? But overall, then it started just picking up and getting. There was action and the songs. They were amazing. They really stayed true to the Broadway production. My personal favorites were Popular and Defying Gravity, of course, because those are very iconic. I'll say the most iconic scene of the whole movie was definitely the defying gravity scene. Just Elphaba flying with her broom, and it just really shows and goes in depth into her character of how did the Wicked Witch came to be. What exactly is her backstory? And it just things like that it brought the whole production, the film adaptation, with a spin to it from the Broadway musical. I just really love how different it is a little bit to the Broadway musical, and just giving a different perspective and a point of view of what happened before Dorothy, what happened before the whole Wizard of Oz. Now, a lot of people, they couldn't stop singing when it came out. A lot of people were posting things on TikTok and doing like trends about Glinda and Elphaba. A lot of people were like, okay, let's try to do a Defining Gravity challenge, and they were trying to do the vocal range that Cynthia does in Defining Gravity. And there was a whole challenge of that. A lot of people did want to go see Wicked. In my personal opinion, I think it was because of the trends that was going on, although there is a lot of musical theater fans, as I am kind of one of them. I'll say in Hollywood, musicals are starting to become more of a trend now. Thanks to TikTok, people doing challenges like the Alphabet challenge of the singing, or just reciting lines for, like of Glinda, and things like that. I think having Cynthia and Ariana Grande part of the reason why there was so much of a hype, because these are talented actresses that they are amazing. People knew them for a long time. They've seen their other projects. They love them. So a lot of people are like, oh, I'm gonna watch it because of Ariana Grande and Cynthia, and I saw this on TikTok and this and that. I went to watch it personally because I did see the trailer. I'm like, oh, it looks interesting. I think it stays true. It has that fidelity in it from the Broadway musical. I loved it. Um, there's a thing in the movie that what I really love was just Indina Menzel, which was the original Elphaba, was also in the movie. She was one of the characters, like the extra characters that were in the background. And for the movie, it did pretty well. It had an 88% of a Rotten Tomato score, with a 90% of the audience actually liking it. I'll say, in my opinion, there was a lot of popularity with this film, and it did put a shift into the Hollywood film culture with musicals. Because there's people who are like, oh, I don't like musicals. Why are they singing all the time? It's unrealistic. I don't listen to those people like that, although I do get their point of the whole singing thing, because yeah, sometimes it could be annoying, but it's supposed to be unrealistic. It's a fantasy movie. Things that are abnormal are supposed to happen. And the main reason that this movie basically like blew up over the internet is because people just wants to go with the flow of the trend. What is new? What is the next hot thing? Back in November, this was it, and part 2 is coming soon later out this year in November during Thanksgiving, which during the Thanksgiving time, that's when everyone's on break, everyone's on vacation, everyone has like some sort of a time to, oh, let's just go to the movies. If we're not gonna go anywhere, let's go to the movies and let's see what's out there. I think that really gave them a big boost. And Wicked also did have some competition from Disney. Disney has been lacking a lot with their musicals for a while, but Moana 2 recently came out as well around the same time as Wicked. And let's just say that movie was better than the first one. The music was phenomenal. I personally thought Beyond was awesome. It really shows character growth with Moana. And that's what people want to see. They want to see character growth. They want to be engaged with the character. You want people to feel like they're inside the movie. They're going through the journey with the characters. And that was something that in Wicked we definitely saw, because there was so much action throughout the movie. In between, yeah, like I said earlier, there was like things that it dragged and here and there. But there are sudden things that you're like a plot twist or an added that you're like, oh my gosh, that wasn't in the musical. I can't believe that they're doing this storyline with the whole thing with what's going on, that they're taking out the animals and they're getting abused. That was the reason why Elphaba started becoming the Wicked Witch, because she was played on the wizard. he tricked her, and even the head of the school, she tricked Elphaba to using her powers to try to capture all the animals and things like that. And people, they were saying online, they're like, oh, I get Elphaba, I get why she acted the way she did. In reality, it's basically like making fun, oh, like their real villain was the wizard. He is a fraud. He's not who he says he is, which people were actually comparing that to the original Wizard of Oz. They were saying, oh, maybe Glinda was actually secretly like a little villain or whatever, because the way that she used Dorothy to get to the Wicked Witch. Although again, this is not connected. Wicked is not connected to the original Wizard of Oz. These are just people doing theories, and they're just enjoying themselves having discussions. I feel like when it comes to musicals in Hollywood, people, you could lose your audience if you, let's say, you do it exactly like the Broadway adaptation, or you just add things that don't really make sense, because people, again, they don't, not a lot of people are really into musicals. There's people that they prefer action. Yes, they love drama, but they want to see action, just normal connection, emotional dialogue between the audience and the characters. But the thing is, what Wicked did right, that even got non-musical theater people to enjoy the film, was the fact that these characters were rememberable. They were memorable. They were memorable, and the way that these actresses, both Ariana and Cynthia, were able to add their own spin into these characters, I think it added a lot more depth into the characters that people could sympathize with and relate to, like saying, oh, I totally get that. I get why Elphaba feels like that. Oh, I get why Glinda is insecure, and that's why she has to be constantly like doing something amazing, so she has like the constant popularity, but she still has that inner insecurities, that kind of makes her annoyed about herself. But then there's Elphaba, that there's people that they're afraid of her because she is different, and not even her own father likes her because of her differences between everyone else. Basically, like in the movie Wicked, is telling that in a society that wants you to be perfect, if you stand out, people are always going to say something about you. Even if you seem like a perfect being, people are always going to talk bad about you, regardless if you make a mistake or you're the popular person. I think especially in this generation with Gen Z, especially, there's a lot of social media. Uh, there is a lot of insecurities that this generation has, that they could really see themselves in this film and say, oh, I feel that way. I feel very insecure about myself. I'm scared to express myself and this or that. So having like musicals like this, even though it has like just a lot of singing, really helps people with what they're going through, with how they view society, and just have fun while watching the movie at the same time, be entertained. And in this movie, yeah, they sang a lot, but a lot of the songs were very upbeat. They were catchy, and you hear those songs over and over on TikTok. Even the one that the one that Jonathan does, which he plays Pharaoh in Wicked, that he sings about like not caring about anything, just being happy. It's called Dancing Through Life, and a lot of people were trying to mimic the dance moves, and it was just a whole challenge that everyone was doing on TikTok. So I think having musicals and as a film adaptation, really that's going on, is just bringing community. Even those who are non-musical theater fans, that they just enjoy dancing and just watching film, it brings a community together, a mix of a whole different people that diversify that, introducing people to musicals. Maybe, you know what, I always thought it was annoying, maybe I should check it out. Or, you know what, I like musicals as a film adaptation, but I'm not really a big fan. Which, in my personal opinion, I'm more of a film person, and I'm more into theoretical film musical productions versus in Broadway. I should just sit and watch people like play like these characters. Like, yeah, it's pretty cool and all, but I personally, there's something about film that I love. I love like the way the camera moves and the production design and the characters and things like that. And for Wicked, in my opinion, I'll say it's an 8.5 out of 10 because yeah, it dragged a bit in between, but at the same time, I thought this was a really creative take to this musical. It's not your typical singing here and there. It kind of reminds me of how people love like Mamma Mia, which that is one of my favorite musicals as well. But it's a mix of how they say this. It's a mix of like a more modern touch with Gen Z. So they really have like more hip into it. Then in the Broadway production, it was more of like of it was just like different. It was just like a normal Broadway production. But in a film, you need to keep your audience engaged because they're sitting down in the movie at the movie theaters or at home if you're streaming it, and they want to see a story. They don't just want people just singing out of the blue for whatever reason. They want to journey go through the journey with those characters. They want to understand them in a deeper psychological connection and see themselves through these characters, which we do. Another thing that I wanted to mention about Wicked is just even the costume designs. They're very different from the Broadway production, and I thought it really matches like what the actors probably would have wanted because they added their own creative touch into it. They created their own vibe into it. Um, uh, but overall, I'll say Wicked is a movie that I'll definitely watch again. I don't know about singing, maybe with some friends. It's fun to see it with friends. But if you're just by yourself, why not? Just let it out. Just sing. Try to, even though if you don't sing very good, just enjoy it and have fun. That's what it is. And for part two, that's when we're gonna get into to the full on act of okay, what happens next? Well, like how did the scarecrow came to be, the Tin Man and Dorothy, all those things, which we'll find out. I think one of the crazy parts about how musicals are changing the Hollywood film culture is the fact that at the Oscars, Cynthia and Ariana Grande they both sang "Defying Gravity" and songs from the movie. It was just a really nice performance. Their dress that they were wearing it matched their character that they represented, and I'm just gonna like watch this clip from the Oscars so I could react because I haven't watched a few like the full performance, but I did see pictures on online, little clips in here and there. So I'm gonna sort of blind react to this. Cynthia just has a really good vocal range. I love it. And the fact that Ariana Grande sings really good is like both of them it mixes very well. Like they both have like their unique touch. But it's just when they sing together, I don't know, it's like you could tell they're really good friends. Like they have that connection with one another. I like it. I just love this song. Defining Gravity is my favorite. Okay, that was pretty cute. I like that. Yes. Yes, her solo. Her solo. Ariana smiling and just like admiring her. I love it. Wow. Wow. That's amazing. I love it. Yes. Yes. The iconic singing part. Oh, the heart. Okay, yes. That performance is definitely it was amazing. I could just imagine what would have been like to be in that room and just listening to them singing and the whole graphics and the performance. They're probably like, wow, that is unreal. You see, it's things like that that when there's a musical that is so big, they're gonna add it into big things like the Oscars. To perform that Oscars, that is an honor. And this is just a musical, a wicked musical, where again, not many people are really interested into musicals, and the fact that this musical has been for over 20 years, that has been adapted now into a film, it's incredible how far trends in musicals have come. Now, the real question is it a trend because of social media, or it's just are people starting to like musicals? That is something, in my opinion, that I can't find an exact answer to it, or a right answer for that matter. But in my opinion, I think social media is a big part of making musicals popular, because a lot of people don't know a lot of musicals. They just like, oh, I don't know about that. But then when there's like a film coming up and people start doing dance challenges and talking about the film reviews, and they say that's when people are like, you know what, I'll give it a chance. You know what, since it's a trend, I think I'm gonna go. So I think social media is what caused Wicked to be a trend, and also adding Cynthia and Ariana into playing the main roles, because it attracts the viewers. It's part of the marketing. This is how big film companies are able to attract new viewers, not just the target audience, which is musical theater kids, but also non-musical people that just love film. They want any possible, like whole range of audiences, not just musical theater people. They want people to experience different things that they're not used to and expand their platform, which is really great. And the smartest marketing style that the film culture today in Hollywood could do is, of course, social media, and TikTok is a big one. It's a huge social media platform that everyone wants to be on. Every Gen Zer wants to be on that platform. And whatever they see, they're going to try to mimic that and copy that. And a lot of people find not just news, but what's new, what's next, what's going on in film. And that's how a lot of these film companies, especially independent film companies, get their film out there, by promoting it, by having influencers talk about it, or just content creators talking about their upcoming films. And for a musical that a lot of people, that many people weren't really as into it as of now, is really breaking the records, breaking the charts. I think that's incredible, and we need social media for the marketing of this. I believe that there's new fans to musicals, and one of the big ones after Wicked has been also Disney. Disney has been getting a little bit a step back ever since COVID, when everything started going on streaming. They lost a lot of profit, just like any business at that time during COVID. One of the things that they were doing, even during the production that they were doing a musical, to try to pay tribute to the 100 years of Disney, was Disney's Wish, which came out back in November of 2023. A lot of promotion wasn't really happening. People who watched the film, they said it seemed like AI generated. The animation was terrible. The music, it was like if AI wrote it, and things like that. Especially with the villain song from King Magnifico called "This Is the Things I Get," which someone who did watch Wicked, I had to agree that villain song was terrible. We went from I don't know, be prepared from the Lion King to, I don't, this is the things I get, a weird hip hop thing. I don't know. It was like very upbeat. It wasn't menacing or scary at all. The only song that I did love was This Wish, which the main character Asha sings. Although I think overall it was okay movie. It was like 5 out of 10. I wasn't a fan of the animation. The whole storyline, they were just adding things just because it was Disney 100 years anniversary. I don't think that was a film to really honor Disney's 100 years. And that was definitely a musical that it could get annoying because the songs they weren't good. They were boring or annoying. They didn't match the tone of the movie at all. And ever since that, people have been losing confidence of what Disney could do with their musicals. And that's until recently though. During the time of Wicked, when Moana 2 came out, Disney was slowly coming back. They're slowly coming up, making a comeback in the musical theater genre, which Moana 2 was a very successful film. And a matter of fact, I'm going to search up over here about their box office. It was actually, their box office was actually, it made a billion, 1.5 billion worldwide, which that's huge because Disney hasn't had a $1 billion animated musical film in a while. I'll say the last time that they really had so much hype was when Encanto came out with We Don't Talk About Bruno. Everyone was like, Lin-Manuel ate that up, which I do agree with that statement. He wrote that song very well. It's Lin-Manuel, of course. He did Hamilton and The Heights. He's a legend. And he did the live action Little Mermaid music. That's why it was so good. Which I love, by the way. Moana 2, again, this was definitely the film that it brought back Disney. It brought back what they could do with their musicals, just paying a tribute to all of their classics, all of their modern type films that they are doing, that they did. And I'll say one of my favorite songs from the movie is Beyond. Just the whole thing and the fact that they added like a villain and she was actually a villain, like it's not those comedic one like King Magnifico was. She was menacing. She was like threatening. She wanted to challenge Moana for sure. And definitely is a step up from the first film. The animation has improved definitely. Just the water made you feel like you were actually there, like some like in Hawaii or just like an ocean adventure with Moana. And the fact that they had like new friends and the songs, I'll say they were a lot better. A lot of people did enjoy Moana too because we were able to see Moana's character growth. We were able to experience the journey with her, and the songs, they were catchy. They actually matched the tone of fear, of wondering what's gonna happen next. The Moana's journey as she is older from the first film, as she is the chief of the land. She's trying to lead her people. We see a lot of character of a girl. She was at first naive and just being a kid, and now to a young lady that she is a leader, that she's willing to risk herself for her own people. And by the way, just her singing about her emotions, and you could see the growth going in her throughout the film, and that's what people want. They want songs that are catchy. They want a real storyline where they could understand the character, what they're going through. And the fact that this was finally Disney moment for a musical to earn $1 billion is amazing. And I hope Disney does keep it up for the future productions. Now, I'm gonna talk about something that that I know it's just say there's a big controversy with this film, the live action Snow White. Now, I haven't seen the trailer yet because I've been very busy, but I heard a few things. It's starring Rachel Zegler, who is Snow White, and Gal Gadot, who she's playing the evil queen. Now, there has been controversy over this film because of what the actress is. Mainly, Rachel Zegler has been saying about the film. Just her saying back in D23, she was saying, "Oh, it's not gonna be your traditional Snow White film where the man is gonna save the woman, kissing the woman and things like that. Like that's weird." Like she was saying different criticisms that people are like, "I don't agree with that. Why do they have to bash women for their feelings, the traditional values or conservative values and things like that?" She was basically saying all these comments, and also it has to deal with political things, the feminist movement. Many people, they're not too excited about that, so they're trying to put the actress down and saying, "Oh, I'm gonna boycott the movie because of her views, because what she is saying about the film." She's trying to change the whole creative thing and the whole woke thing in Disney, things like that. And then there's also controversy we got gathered because, again, things that are political, not in that sense, but in the sense of things that are going on in forging world, since she has Israeli roots, and people just talking about her because of the whole controversy with Israel and the Palestinian thing. So there's a bunch of political things that I'm not going to get into because I rather not. I don't like talking about politics, but just some things that a lot of controversy that's going on with the film because of the actresses and the storyline that is getting changed and not following the traditional values of the original Snow White that Walt Disney made years ago. Both of these actresses, they are talented, and based off like some clips I've seen and from pictures, I think they're doing pretty well from what I'm seeing with their role and adding their own touch to it. But I haven't seen the trailer yet. I'm gonna blind react to it right now. So yeah, I'm gonna press play.
This was my father's.
Oh, we're gonna get a little backstory. I like that. I think the lighting, the cinematography is that was good. That effect was actually good.
Your Majesty.
But yeah, the cinematography and the whole effects and the lighting is actually pretty good. It's not bad.
Kindness.
You know, I really don't remember you being this
Wow.
opinionated.
It seems okay so far.
Magic mirror on the wall. Who is
Okay, the mirror.
fairest of them
Alright.
all?
Famed is thy beauty,
Not
majesty.
too bad, not too bad.
But a lovely maiden I
Oh,
now behold.
I
okay.
look at you,
That was
and I
nice.
just want to be the fairest of them all.
The queen is evil. You must flee into the woods.
Okay, the wilderness stuff. Okay, so it has a little spooky tone like in Snow White. I see that.
My parents
Oh,
always
the
said this
animals are
forest
so
is a magical
cute.
place.
The CGI is pretty cool. I like it. Oh, they're so
anybody
cute. I
here?
love animals. They're so cute. The seven doors. Oh. CGI is kind of wonky for the seven doors, but they're supposed to be silly, like the animation.
It's a human.
What did you think I was?
Nothing. Ghost.
Okay, I love it.
You'll be safe from the queen here.
The queen stole
I
everything
love the
from all
difference
of
between
us.
the lighting of
I need your help.
you see Snow White and it's light.
Time
You
to
see the evil
restore
queen is
our
dark and
kingdom.
mysterious. Pretty cool. Okay, pretty cool.
Find Snow White.
This is our kingdom, and now we're here to take it back.
You were saying.
I'm sorry, my dear. Did I frighten you?
Okay, March 21st. Let's see. I'm gonna break this down the best I can. Starting with the actors. Well, I could see that Rachel Zegler, she really does show her version of Snow White, which I like. Because you don't want to be exactly like the animation, because then people are gonna know what to expect. I mean, we all know the story of Snow White. But when you're doing film adaptations, you want to add your own thing so you get people engaged and and be like, oh, what happens next? Instead of saying, oh, I already know what happened next. Like, this and this is gonna happen. But no, you want to add a plot twist to the storyline, even though you know the end result. You know the story of Snow White. You want people to be engaged the whole time. That's why they need to do add-ons, which I completely understand. Now, with Rachel Zegler, I think she's doing a really good job as Snow White. I think she shows the compassion and the love and the caring that Snow White has, that she has a big wholesome heart, that she just loves everyone, even though her circumstances is sad. She lost her parents when she was small, things like that, but she still has such a upbeat heart and such a kind heart for people that she doesn't let her experiences that she went through as a kid, and even now with the evil queen taking over her land, to affect the way that she feels and her kindness towards other people. Rachel Zegler is showing that here. I'll admit that. And she's an amazing actress. I really like her a lot. I think she's doing really great. And Gal Gadot as the evil queen, she really knows how to play a villain. I know her from Wonder Woman and previous projects. She does a really good job of different ranges of characters. And with the evil queen, yeah, she has that look. She has the look because she she seems menacing. By her characters in the movie, the way she talks, she adds on to what the evil queen is. A very menacing lady that she thinks she's all that with her jewelry. She just wants to take over the kingdom with her power. That's all she cares about herself. And Gal Gadot is able to personify that with her own take of who the evil queen is. And you could tell that there was a bit of, not only theoretical, but a bit of method acting of trying to step into the character's feet to really bring these characters to life. And Rachel Zegler does also do that with Snow White. The costume designs, they're pretty good. They're pretty good. I love it. And I think one of the things that really caught my attention is not just their own spin to it of the storyline, but it's just the fact of the way they did the lighting. From this trailer, I could see that they put sunshines and lights and love when Snow White appears and it's with the 7 doors. But then when they shift into the evil queen, it's dark. It has a dim light, a dark, shadowy, menacing feel, and the cinematography and the lighting. I think it really just showcased of these characters and paying tribute to who they are from the original Snow White movie. But here in the live action, we're just going more in depth. It's more realistic since live action, you want to make it seem as reflected to society, but society of that time of the medieval times. Now, I'll say I would watch this film, despite the controversy that's in the film. People, they're gonna be people. Everyone's gonna have their own opinions. Everyone's gonna say, oh, I don't agree with this actress or that actress. Oh, I'm not watching it because of X, Y, and Z. The whole oh, I don't like how Disney like woke and things like that. People are gonna have their preferences. I get that, and I respect people's opinions 100%. But as someone who's a huge fan, not only of musicals but just film in general, I'm definitely gonna watch Snow White because I just want to see it myself. The worst thing that could happen is if I don't like it, which that's happened before. There's been films of Disney that I'm like, I just don't like because the storyline was just terrible. And usually with live action of Disney's, their musicals, I feel like they should have just focus on their animation. But Snow White seems promising, and there was good live action musicals like Beauty and the Beast, The Little Mermaid, Aladdin, which I love Aladdin, that's my favorite one. Recently Mufasa, which is really good, and also one of the songs was a trend to the I always wanted the brother song. That I always wanted a brother. Like that was a cute song. Like you just seeing young Mufasa and young Scar, which he goes by Taka when he was young. I love that. Like I think it was nice to see how this Scar became Scar. I didn't know that he was really had a good relationship with Mufasa at first, and then he just became like mean, the villain that he is. it just shows like a lot of these musicals, they really go in depth, especially in film adaptations when there's a little bit more time. They go in depth on these characters of how they get to the place that they are, that we see. And I feel like with this whole, in a musical, it makes it more engaging because people could just sing along or feel connection, because a lot of people tend to be connected to music. Like, that's part of our human nature. We hear some sort of rhythm, like we start dancing, even if you don't really like music, or you're just like very shy. Like, I'm very shy, I don't like dancing in front of people, but when I'm listening to music, I'm like, I like this beat. I'm not too big into music, but I like it, and I just like, start dancing a little bit. And when I'm watching film, I just, my mind gets automatically transported, and I really love the film. I'll just pretend I'm one of the characters, one of the observers, just going through the journey with these characters. And from what I see here, I think Snow White is doing that. Maybe it won't be as good as Wicked, because at the end of the day, it's a live action Disney film. They're gonna lower it down a bit. There's children watching it. There's some things that I would have to agree with, some controversy, not politically wise, just the CGI wise. The Seven Doors do look a little bit wonky. There are some sets in the Snow White trailer that I'm like, you could tell that's a green screen. They needed to render that more. But I just hope that the film does succeed, and I'm excited. I really am excited. I wonder what new songs they're gonna do that they're gonna add into it. So it seems promising. Other than that, for the future of musicals in Hollywood, I think it's strong. I think it's very strong, and there's gonna be more people that are gonna be engaged in this type of genre. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. I'm really excited about Wicked Part 2 coming out in November, and yeah, I can't wait to see what else that Disney's gonna do with their musicals, and other film companies they're gonna do with their musicals. I'm really excited to see what else is in store for the whole musical genre in the future. So thank you everyone for listening. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Also, I'm on social media. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at @GabrielaEstrada and @FilmingThroughTheCulture. On TikTok is @DisneyFunnyVoices and @FilmingThroughTheCulture. I also have an X for just film updates called @ThroughFilming and @GabbyDisneyArt. And I hope everyone has a beautiful and blessed day, and that you enjoy listening to what I had to say. Now, please stay tuned for my next episode, which it will be about the rising of faith-based content. I'm going to be talking about, about Jesus, and an animated movie that's coming out, and about a show that is going to be in theaters called The Chosen. Thank you so much for listening or for watching, and see you on the next episode. Make sure to subscribe and like and share. Bye!